Hello, this is Julian Roman with MovieWeb.
Hi.
Hey,
Hey guys, how you doing? First of all, tremendous film. So congrats on that.
thank you.
And so, Michael, my first question is for you. I mean, you've had this great success with the agency, and you're incredible here as George. And so you're playing another espionage character dealing with complex lovers. What do you find so interesting about these roles?
This wasn't like it just sort of happened in the same week, actually, Black Bag and the agency. I suppose the world is just fascinating. You've got these extraordinary people in extraordinary circumstances. You know, the idea of what it takes to operate in this environment, I think is just sort of endlessly fascinating. What type of person goes into this world and how do their minds work? It's definitely different than the average person, that's for sure.
Marisa, Regé-Jean, so you guys are on the receiving end of these piercing, menacing stares throughout the film from Michael as George, and he's pretty terrifying. And so I want to talk about the rehearsal time. How did you guys get to that point where you can be so menaced, just by a stare?
I think we were all really relaxed with each other. We've been speaking about this a little bit, that between takes, it was all very easy, very loose, very soft. We didn't talk about the work very much between takes at all. We kind of talked about everything else in the world. And then the second you're ready to go, it means that you're loose and limber and ready to surprise each other. And so it means that those intense stares, those intense looks, which are coming from every angle on the table, by the way, not just like...
That's right. I was thinking you've got a pretty intense one going on too.
Yeah, there's a lot of intensity and a lot of subliminal cutting down going on. And it's mostly just about keeping each other open to that and being relaxed enough that we're able to affect each other like that.
Mm-hmm. And whoever blinked first lost. That was basically
that's basically it, yeah.
The blinking game.
All right, so let me ask you about the dinner table scenes, which are just masterful, just like supreme acting. So congrats on that. So from what I'm reading in the notes, you've got Steven, handheld camera, I guess, in the middle of the table, going back and forth, talking about working with him as a director, because to our readers, he is a titan of cinema. And just give us an anecdote of him on this film. What was he like?
Well, I guess really those were the only scenes that we did rehearse, because I think that they were, I mean, he would tell us that like those were the scenes that were kind of, he would think about at night, being like, well, how am I going to do that? They were sort of 12 pages long. The first one was 12 pages long, and everyone has a kind of moment. There are so many different beats in the scene. So it really is, working with Steven is, you know that he is going to be able to guide you through something like that so clearly. And there's so much focus and vision. He would let us run it through for our sake and to kind of get into the rhythm of the thing. But he's sort of editing as he's going, in the sense that like he knows what shot he's going to be using for each individual moment. So you're not kind of battering the thing to death. He will kind of say to you, like, where do you want to go from? But I need this moment.
Mm-hmm. And he's also boosting the performance by where he puts the camera.
Yeah.
It seems like a sort of obvious thing, but it's not necessarily executed by everyone. Where to put the camera. And then what's the camera's story in the next shot? How are the edits coming together? That visual storytelling, he's a master at that. So he's helping the performance across the board that way. Across the table.
Let me bring up Kate's work in this film. So Kate is tremendous, right? She's kind of like the antithesis of George, with a little bit more personality and flair, but also, pretty menacing and pretty scary character. So for each of you, give us a Kate anecdote. What was it like working with her?
She's incredibly playful and curious, is what I was both surprised and delighted by. Like, between takes, there's nothing you can't get Kate interested in or kind of talking about.
Yeah.
And so you know that you're kind of in really generous, easy hands when you are going into the scene.
I mean, I guess when we all first met when we went for a dinner out in London, and I guess Steven was kind of like already sort of rehearsing. But I guess just she was so kind, and it was just like an amazing way to meet everyone. And then you get on set and you're like, let's go. And I think she has the first line in that dinner table scene. So it's just kind of cool where for the first time you're in this room with all of these actors that you look up to, and Steven, and someone says action, and then, Kate Blanchett starts talking, you're like, woohoo, we're here.
It's just, her understanding of, she's just such a legend of like film and stage. And she just brings all that sort of experience on set.
Mm-hmm.
But as Regé said, she's very playful and it's not sort of there in front of you in between takes. But once the camera starts rolling, you can see all that experience and intelligence, in what she's bringing.
Bravo. Great film, guys. Thanks for the time. Cheers.
Thank
Thank you
you
so much.